And welcome back to another edition of Wandering Yuki Cheese Cafe. You may get some brewing, you may get some flavor, you may get some tasty cooking, but no matter what, whatever we do, we're always going to be doing it in style. So we got a really warm day ahead of us, like mid-October or actually in the mid-20s. I'm taking advantage and I want to do some grilling. I feel like I wanted to make a steak again. And it's a perfect excuse also to put to use my homemade Montreal steak spice. As you can see, it's getting kind of empty in here. I was thinking I needed to get a refill done of this, but then the thought occurred to me that how about I show everybody how to make their own at home today? So let's watch and find out how this is done, and above all else, get our mouth watering. So, the thing about steak spice is, sometimes when you buy them at the store and it's already pre-packaged, there's a nice chance that it's going to be probably really white. Essentially, what some of these spices are going to have is that there's going to have so much salt in there, mostly because it's like a cheap filler product that they can use. But if you're making your own at home, then you're able to actually control the salt content in it, and it's actually, much tastier too. So then let's get started. First things you are going to need are a medium-sized mixing bowl and 1 tablespoon. And because everything you're going to be doing is in bulk and using practically everything as 2 or 3 tablespoon increments. Some stuff you're going to need too are a mortar and pestle, because certain ingredients will need to be ground up. I mean, probably it doesn't need to be, but if you're like me and you want to have a consistent mixture in there, you will want to have it evened up. Now, moving along there to the next step. So, I realized if I wanted to see properly to get my spices mixed up, I had to take off the shades. So, half stylish now because I got fancy hat over here, but no shades. So it's all good. First thing you would do is start off with a bit of dry mustard. You would need about 3 tablespoons for this. And this is going to help give it a bit of the consistency to make it really spreadable. You can put like a little bit over and then you're fine too. Ah, son of a... I hate when my mustard explodes on me. There, 3 tablespoons worth. See what I mean by you do it all in bulk? And it looks like this. Then next up it's going to be about, let's say 2 tablespoons of paprika. They say you could use smoked paprika for this, but any kind of paprika is good. No need to get all fancy with that. There. So I got that mixed up. We can start combining that together. And then once I start mixing this up, you'll already see some of that orange consistency you're going to get with most steak spices. It's really just the paprika and the mustard combining. It's almost like moving the color wheel. If you remember mixing your colors, then yellow with red would become orange. So there you go, a little science fact with this. So that's done. Next step is going to be a little bit of grinding related activities. So for these next steps, you're definitely going to need your mortar and pestle now. I've added 2 tablespoons of coriander seeds into here. Of course, you try to spread it around and try to mix it in a shaker. It's not going to go as well. So you just use the mortar and pestle to kind of work it for a few minutes. That will give it a little bit of a powdery feel. It's going to be softened up, easier to get out of the shaker. First I was going to make a joke about coriander, but it turns out I was getting it mixed up with cilantro. Cilantro is one of those weird things that you find on like dating apps, and people are going to say cilantro is a no-go, or if you like it, it's a deal breaker. God dang, people are so weird. You can be different, but cilantro is a deal breaker? Seriously? Okay, this is looking good. Just a little bit further. And that's the sound of the earthquake hitting, folks. Take cover, take shelter, or build yourself a bomb shelter too. Alright. Just at the halfway stretch. Yep. Now we're cooking with gas. Double, double, toil and trouble. Wait. For a second I thought I became the Wicked Witch of the West. This hat's starting to possess me, people. Don't mind me. I was just in the process of whipping up some dill seeds. You need about 3 tablespoons of this to really give it the flavor, and it kind of looks like this. Goes from seeds to a powdery crust. When I opened up the bag, it kind of gave me the scent of dill pickled chips for a second. Now I want to get some chips. Mix that in, and you can actually start to grind this all together. Again, you're already seeing it really build up over here. I suppose I could take a little break from some grinding action to go for a basic ingredient now. Salt. Plain old salt. Recipe calls for about 3 tablespoons, which could be adjusted. They do ask for kosher salt, but it's not really an important matter. As long as you have salt in here, it's fine. But don't over-salt it too much that it becomes super white. Otherwise you may as well just get it at the grocery store. There. Got that all in here. And then what you could do next is mix up some granulated onion and granulated garlic. This would take about 3 tablespoons for each one. The shop nearby my house didn't have any granulated onion, so I was left using some onion powder. It should mix up over here pretty well. The only difference is I'm seeing a lot of onion fumes coming up in here. Great, now I'm going to be inhaling onions like a fool. Gaseous onion-related activities, everyone. It's all fun stuff. Ooh, and it gave me a bit of a whiff now. Then we could start mixing this up together. This is starting to smell heavenly over here, people. We're going to turn this up a notch now. Give this a bit of a kick. Next, I'm using 2 tablespoons of chili flakes. Obviously, you're not going to be able to shake it out of a shaker. So you want to get this mixed in really well with a mortar and pestle yet again. More powder, more flavor, more shakeableness. Yeah, I should not have done that. This is actually making me think back to a weird story from when I was a kid. I think it was in one of those Ukrainian camps that I went to when I was about 7 years old. I was having some kind of pasta dish over there. And I think there was actually some chili that was offered to put onto it. Except I probably put a little bit too much. And then it just gave me a bit of irritation in the eyes and nose. It kept making me sleep. My eyes were watering. And I think one of the counselors was coming up and asking, "Why are you crying?" I don't know if I was responding at the time. But I think someone realized that it was just because I was too hopped up on spice. That's all it was. Yeah, the old days of being in the Ukrainian classes and camp, or me sitting in a church, not understanding an Our Father from a Hail Mary because I couldn't speak the language as well. The most I could know was about, moloko was milk, shostaboy meant what's the matter with you? That's an expression I heard from my dad a lot when I was a kid. Oh boy, old good times. So these things are really getting softened up now. Getting close to it. A little bit of extra force. And here we are. Add that to the mixture. And then we're on the final stretch for one last ingredient. We went from chili flakes to give you 1 sense of kick. That's from your left foot. And then you're going to get your kick from the right foot with a bit of black pepper. You could use peppercorns, you could use coarse pepper, you can use fine pepper. It all works out. This will take about a good 3 tablespoons of it too. Or a little bit less, in case you don't want too much spice in here. Three down. Oh, already out of the shaker. There. Now because this thing is already ground up pretty well, I don't think I need to... Yeah, this is a pretty sticky texture already. No need to ground it up as much. Okay, mix up a steak spice together with all this pepper. That's going to clear up any congestion you may have. So now that the pepper has been mixed over here, just to give it a nice stir, and final result, here's what it looks like, people. Some Montreal steak spice, good to go. Notice how very little white there is in here, like I said? Yeah. Certain types of paprika will give you some brighter reds, which I guess will give you an orangey flavor or an orangey color. But they all look very similar, just different hues. And then you can just season this on your steak before you fry it, bake it, grill it, and then you're good to go. The trick with the spices in steak is that if you have a well-seasoned steak and it's cooked well, you're not going to need ketchup to eat this. It's really tasty on its own without anything else. But of course, you don't have to just put it on steak. You can use it on chicken, some pork. It's a very versatile spice mix. Just gives it the Montreal seasoning here. There we go. And we got a lot to last us for a little while. And of course, we're going to be ready to put this to use. I have a contrefilet ready to fry up on the grill. Time to get some action here, folks. And so, now that we're outside, I got my grill set up. Charcoal's all laid out. Time to set this sucker on fire. Yep, always taking advantage. Because this is that time of year I was always asked, how many more barbecue sessions am I going to have available? Starter stuff's on fire. Come on, damn it. Okay, finally. They were just being a stubborn jackass. Okay. Fuel started. I'm going to need some fuel for myself too. Because again, I cannot have a beer. I cannot grill without having a good quality beer. This one I'm going to have today is the Montreal Artisanal brand. I know this one pretty well because I'm always a big fan of their Northeast IPA. This one's ISA des Chutes, which is an India Session Ale. It's going to be hoppy and citrusy, and it's only about 3.7% too. So you get a good flavor. It's light. It's like a guilt-free beer when you think about it. Whoops. Hanging on because I'm getting too much head yet again. Voila. It's a beauty, people. Let's have a taste over here for old time's sake. By which, I mean old time's sake as me, Gaspach, and Marky Mark. We're the funky bunch. We're the Three Stooges. Good times, man. We all used to share beers together. Yep, lovely. I got brew, I got fire, and I'm about to have some charred cow. What more can you ask for? Okay, thanks for waiting, everybody. Today, I decided to grill some of the leftover eggplant I had just sitting around, because I've kind of grown really fond of this vegetable. Just with a little bit of avocado oil set on fire, it really gets the job done, gets the mouth watering. Like I said, at least I'm not just grilling an animal over here. I'm also getting some vegetables, getting some vitamins, and I suppose I'm getting some carbon that I kind of need. Because what is this? It's charcoal set on fire, it's coal. Like I said, I'm doing this because I don't know how many more sessions I'm going to get. The fire is really good. The oil has set this up well. I think it's time to season up the steak. So once again, I got a nice piece of contrefilet, just at the perfect thickness to get it set up on fire on the grill. And I'm going to give a generous amount of my steak spice to give it a proper flavoring. Again, you don't really need ketchup or any other dip with this. When it's seasoned well, then it tastes good on its own. Generous amount here. And next, close this. Let it sear for a little bit, just enough so that it browns on the outside, but also I'm inhaling campfire again. Yeah, just let it sear, but not so much that it turns completely well done. My personal favorite is just a little above medium rare. Like, not too well done, but also not too raw. Coming from the guy that likes beef tartare, so who am I to talk? Okay, let's see how this is looking. Embers are still going pretty strong. I would say this potato is looking nice, but you know, you can't really tell how a potato looks in the aluminum foil. Won't tell unless you're able to open it up. So I'm gonna flip the steak. Ah, yeah. I'm getting all charred and tender. Getting kind of stoked to have this. And this is like an appropriate time too, because they're predicting rain falling down around this neighborhood like 7 o'clock when it really hits the fan. But it's really starting to look like crap now. I'm hoping this is going to be done soon enough before it really starts to pour. I don't want to be grilling burgers out in a thunderstorm like I did last time. So on that note, I guess time to call the wraps. I got a good steak spice, and remember too, you make a good bulk amount of it for a mason jar here. You can save it for a few weeks, or above all else, share it with friends, family, give it around. Share it to stuff. Share it like it's drugs, you know. Anyways, thanks for watching. This is another segment of the Wandering Yuki Cheese Cafe signing off. Remember, if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button below, give me a like, send a comment, and if you want, feel free to send me a request, and then I'll see what I can do with this. Peace, everyone.